What's up, guys? Dr. Chris Park here. Let's drink some coffee. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about tapering. You're going to find this interesting. So I had two comments this past week, and they were like back-to-back comments by different people on different videos. And the first comment was very aggressively negative, saying that tapering slowly, we'll just say that they said that tapering slowly was dumb, was not a good idea, that you should just jump off. You're going to be miserable either way. You might as well just be miserable and get it over with. That was their opinion. And of course, this person thought their opinion was the only opinion that mattered. The second comment said that the video about tapering slowly, anyway, said that we weren't telling people to taper slow enough, right? And granted, this was on the 16-week video, which that is not, we've talked about this over and over. I've done some, other videos discussing that. That is not the standard protocol. And those 16 weeks are not to be considered actual weeks, right? They're just blocks of time before your next step down. And again, that was just kind of to get the conversation rolling. Well, today I want to talk about a more aggressive approach to tapering. It's not the alternating dose approach. It's just kind of a straight linear approach, okay? And that is every 2 weeks, reducing your dose by 25%, okay? So this is going to take some calculations, and I'm going to kind of tell you maybe how to do that, and then how to adjust this to make it work for you. Okay, so you would take your dose, however much you're taking in a day. You would put it in the calculator. You would multiply it by 0.75 because that's the dose you're going to continue to take. 75% of your former dose. And then in 2 weeks, you do it again and you repeat the process. So every 2 weeks, you're reducing by 25%, okay? This is an aggressive taper approach. Now, how would I modify that? Well, in 2 weeks' time, if I didn't feel like tapering, I wouldn't. Or if I adjusted and I took the 25% off and I started to have withdrawal, what I would do is go back to the previous dose I was on and continue it for another 2 weeks. And then my next attempt at dropping, I would not go down by 25%, I would go down by 15%. And at that point, I would only take 15% drops. In other words, you would continue 85% of the previous dose. In 2 weeks, I would reevaluate, reduce, and keep going, right? But again, if I had a withdrawal, go back to the previous dose, stay there for another 2 weeks, taper, withdrawal, go back, taper, etc. Okay? Does that make sense? So you start off taking 25% reductions every 2 weeks, but if you need to space that out for a month, you could. If you had withdrawal, you would go back to the higher dose, and you would then, at your next taper, you would then start to only go down by 15%. This is going to get tricky when you get to really low doses, and at that point, when you get down to like the 1 milligram per day or the 0.5, then you're going to probably start to need to look more at, although obviously you could possibly keep reducing the dose, micro dosing to very minute levels, but at some point you're probably going to need to just start skipping days, but not just completely stopping, going like every, we've talked about this, every 36 hours or every 48 hours, okay? So that's an approach. Now, when you're figuring this out, the calculations, it's not going to be nice and neat numbers, right? You're going to have some weird decimal points. So I would just probably round up to the closest quarter. So if it's like 4.88 milligrams, I would go to 5 milligrams. If it was, if it was 5.6 milligrams, I would take 5.75 milligrams, okay? And then I would use that 5.75 as my, in 2 weeks, I would take, the 15% off or 25% off of that. So does that make sense? Now, I'm trying to think of other issues you might have with this. I think those are I think that's kind of a general rundown of it. It's an aggressive approach, but it can be modified to be less aggressive. You don't have to go down every 2 weeks. You could use that to taper every 2 months and take those percentages. Now, for this to work well, you're going to need the strips, and eventually you're going to need the 2 milligram strips, so you can kind of cut them up a little more precisely to divide it up. I hate that that's what you have to do to taper this medicine. I wish they would make different doses of this so it would be easier to taper, but we gotta make do with what we got. You know what I mean? So that's a rundown. Again, this is just information. These are just ideas that I want you to take to your doctor if you and your doctor think you're at a good place to taper. All right, this is not for you to just do on your own. All right, I don't want you getting in trouble. I don't want you having bad withdrawal, and I most definitely don't want you to relapse. And so just remember, tapering is not for everyone. Not everybody is to that point, okay? The number one goal is that you have a good life, that you're having good relationships, that you are healthy, mind, body, spirit, okay? That you are off, these addictive drugs, that you're not at risk of overdose and death. Those are the things we're working on. Those are that's top of priority list, okay? Tapering is after you've gotten, you're there, you know what I mean? And now you're ready. Or if you're having severe problems from being on buprenorphine, then yeah, you need a taper too. And if you're having a lot of problems, then that aggressive taper might be a better option for you. So, all right, guys, if you have questions, let me know. If you would like me to re-explain this or whatever, that's fine. I hope y'all are having a great day. Don't forget your coffee. Peace.